So it's the end of 2021, and here we are in the Scotty Cranmer YouTube channel, another year that we've been able to make these YouTube videos for you guys, and we are so grateful for all the support you guys have given us over the years. Going out, having fun with my little brother and all of our friends, and just being able to experience so much in BMX and document it all over the years. I'm just so glad that I have these videos to look back on and just remember all the good times that we've had. And to have you guys along with us during this journey has been amazing. So I wanted to do this video where I was going to be going over the highlights, my favorite things that we did this year. So I decided to make this one for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. So the first thing we're going to be going over this year is the game of bikes that we've had. So we decided to do a Legends League game of bike where we were going to call out some legendary riders to do game of bikes with. We wanted to build it up and make it a really epic game. We wanted to make it so it was like so much bigger than a regular game of bike. And it started out with Corey Burglar versus Morgan Wade, and it was a game of T-Whip. Nothing but tails between these two. They're specialties for sure. So we ended up going out to Texas. We filmed the game of bike, and it was so much fun. We had a blast riding with Morgan and all the locals, but it was so great to see everybody showing up at the event, just so excited for the event, and that really meant the world to me. And we had so much fun doing that one that we immediately decided that we were going to do another one. This time, Maddie called out the legendary rider, Ryan Nyquist, and we ended up going down to North Carolina, and we did a game of bike with Ryan Nyquist. It was nothing else but Suey no-handers, which is a trick Ryan Nyquist has been famous for. And just like it was in Texas, we had an amazing time down there in Cary, North Carolina at the Cary Action Sports Park. The game of bike was absolutely epic, with the guys throwing some insane tricks. We just wanted this to build BMX up and make something really cool out of BMX. For me, being a BMX rider that's been paralyzed for the last 5 years and that I'm not able to ride anymore, I just wanted to do something that was going to give back to the sport. So I figured if we could do something that was going to get everybody excited again for BMX, then we were going to be doing our part in the sport. So yes, the game of bikes were awesome, and I would like to do some more in 2022, but I don't know who we're going to be doing up against. I'm going to start thinking about it, game planning, and we'll see what we come up with. But moving on from the game of bikes, I want to talk about all the crazy things that we built this year on the channel. There were so many different things that we did, so many creative ideas that came to life, and I'm going to go over a few of them right now. So early on in the year, we ended up building the pogo bike, which is so crazy to see. It was a BMX bike that was combined in with those stilt jump things, and it actually worked amazing. The bike jumped nice and even, and the guys were able to do tricks with it. And those videos did really well, and I could tell that you guys all enjoyed it, and that's what made it that much better. We also made the rolling bike ramp, which was a BMX bike with a ramp built on the front end of it. Maddie had this game plan with this. He had this dream of making this happen, and somehow we were able to build this thing ourselves out of scratch, which we were so proud about. It was like our first real project of being able to weld stuff together, and I can't believe that actually held up, and I can't believe the tricks that the guys were able to do on it. But we also did a couple random things on the BMX bike to see if they actually worked or not. And for example, we ended up messing around with the brake system a lot. Like, we took one lever and decided to put 2 brake systems on it, the front and the rear. And Maddie actually rode that setup for months, and it worked perfectly. And so many people were talking about that in BMX. Like, why wasn't that ever done before? And the truth is, I do not know. Is it perfect? No. But I think it could be modified, and I think it could be really good for BMX and other bikes in general. But we also came up with another brake system that was using shifters that were on a random mountain bike, like grip shifts. This was another idea that Maddie came up with. We ended up running the brake cables into the shifter, and you'd have to twist it to be able to use the brake. And it didn't work perfectly, but it did work really good. And I think that's another way that a brake system can work in the future for people. Instead of them reaching out to grab the lever, they could just turn and kind of twist it like a throttle in a way. We'll see what happens on that one. It's not like we have patent pending or anything, but you never know. But that leads us to the craziest thing that we built this year, in my opinion, was the roller coaster bike. Now, Maddie's been trying to build this thing for years, and when it finally came to life, he was so excited to be able to try it for the first time. It was a BMX bike that has a loop that's built over the top of it. Now, the game plan was to be able to lock up the front brakes and somehow do a loop and keep on riding around. We weren't the first person to ever do this, but we wanted to make one ourselves and see if it actually worked. And to our surprise, it worked amazing. Maddie was able to do the forward roll easily, and that day he was able to do the first ever fakie roll that was on a roller coaster bike. And of course, it didn't end there for Maddie. So he decided to bring it to the skate park, where he ended up doing a grind across a rail to a forward roll and landed that one perfectly. But then the next big challenge at the skate park was to drop in on a 4-foot quarter pipe. I had this game plan about timing it perfectly, where you'd come down with momentum and be able to ride away from it. And Maddie landed that one first try. It was perfect. And that video is actually our most viewed video that was on the channel this year, with 1.2 million views. So thank you guys so much for commenting and liking and sharing that video. We really do appreciate it. So here's a quick montage of all the other things that Maddie did with the roller coaster bike. He ended up going over that small ramp that was behind the shop, and then we ended up taking it and then riding down a stair set, which he did perfect as well. And then we took it to a hill where Maddie did 5 consecutive rolls down this hill. It was insane. And then Maddie did the trick that you guys were requesting in the comments, where he did the bar spin mid-roll. That one took a lot of thinking, but Maddie did figure it out and he made it happen. So maybe the roller coaster bike will make another debut in 2022, and we'll see what he comes up with. But our next thing I want to talk about is actually right behind me. We ended up building a skate park at my parents' house, and that was such a fun video series to do on the channel, and you guys all loved it, and we really appreciate the support of you guys watching those videos like you did. Building that from start to finish was such a project. It was so difficult to do, and we learned so much about fabrication and building and planning and just knowledge about ramps in general. And to have that go from a vacant lot to a full skate park was so cool. And it's amazing that we have this ramp set up here to ride whenever we want, and we are going to be building it in 2022 a lot different. I want to make this thing directly behind me a little bit wider and make it flow a little bit better, but I also want to make the stuff in the middle bigger and better. And like I talked to you guys about a few weeks ago in the video, we have the equipment that we're going to be start building the ramps on our own, and I'm so excited to get that going, but it's just been so cold and we've been really busy, so we'll get to work eventually, I promise. So guys, there's one last thing I'm going to be bringing up in this video, and this dates back all the way to February last year. It's when we went to Woodward and it was a snowstorm, and I ended up getting on my bike and I jumped into the foam pit. This was in preparation of me eventually doing a backflip, and I had no intentions of doing one that day. I just wanted to jump into the foam pit. Ever since I was paralyzed, it's been really difficult for me to ride or just pretty much do anything in general. So getting on a bike for me is really hard, it's really scary, and it's not easy at all. So when I went down that roll and I had this game plan of jumping into the foam pit, like everything went out the window as soon as I pumped the ramp because I was scared for my life at that point. It was absolutely terrifying, and still thinking back to it right now, like it makes me nervous because it was just out of my control at that point, and there was nothing I could do except for just hope for the best. And the reason why I wanted to bring up that clip and talk to you guys about it is because that clip right there kind of shows 2 different ends of my recovery. You have the negative of the fact that 5 years ago I was able to do any trick that I wanted to on any ramp that I wanted to with full confidence, and now I'm terrified to go down a roll and hit a foam pit. But at the same time, I also want to say that 5 years ago, I was in a wheelchair and I couldn't move anything from the neck down. And the fact that I'm still able to jump into a foam pit and relive some of those memories again is amazing to me. So it's bittersweet. It really is, because yes, you look at it from both different ways, but I'm grateful for that experience because it was just really cool to fly through the air again, even though I was terrified at the time. So that's going to be it for this look back video. And I just want to thank you guys all again for another year of us being able to have this YouTube channel and be able to make videos for you guys to enjoy every single day. And there's a couple things I want to work on in 2022, and there's something that me and Maddie are currently working on this time off right now that we are hoping to get done in the next probably 2 weeks or so, and it's something I'm really excited about, and I think it could be really awesome for me and for BMX in general. So we'll keep you guys posted on that one. We'll be talking about it soon. But guys, once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys all in 2022. Peace.